So I heard you need a genuine turbo. Something that's consistently reliable and won't break after the first pull and then destroy your engine. Well, I'm very kind to my constituents. So what I did was get $50,000 worth of Garrett turbochargers, the world's best and finest, of course. And I'm throwing them in a random order every day until there's none left in SAMMIT.net. So make sure you head there right now and place your order. Otherwise, you could not do that, and then, I mean, you could be dealing with that. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. As I'm sure the B-roll told you, we're very busy today, working on the abandoned S15 outside, getting all that rust removed and all that silicone and all that kind of stuff that's on there, as well as Kavi-san is here and he's working on all the fabrication for the intercooler piping and stuff on the Bogan 32. He's pretty much got everything figured out. Masking tape, a fabricator's best friend. So he's gonna be taking some parts back to his shop to use some of his specialty tools to be able to cut and weld and whatnot. He's gonna do a really cool kind of notching technique here on the 90 that comes off the turbo, and then everything's gonna line up and it's gonna look sick. I'm sure you guys kind of saw the layout in the B-roll as well, but yeah, I'm really excited. We've gone with 245s here because we could have just used a 90, but that would have gotten us really close to the exhaust rear housing, which would have been a lot hotter. So if we use 245s here, we're able to avoid all of that and keep things cool. And then yeah, 90 off that, straight down into there. And then here we've just got a 45 coming straight up into the 90 off the turbo. And then we're gonna still have a lot of space to bring our intake and pod filter in there, which I'm excited about. This thing's pretty cool. This is a Pro Box. It's kind of like, I guess, the cheaper version of like the Pro Succeed or the Pro Suck or whatever you guys want to call it. But this is Kavi-san's car. It's a little bit of a beater, but he loves it because it's just so cheap. But yeah, here are a bunch of tools and parts he's taking back with him to work on. As you can see, you got this 90 here. That's coming off there. We're gonna kind of reuse that and cut this all up and make it work. But yeah, overall, it's pretty cool. Kind of want to mess around with one of these one day, maybe do some kind of turbo swap on it. But anyways, Daiki, you've been real busy outside today. Little bit. It's been working on getting all that silicone sealer that was just thrown over all of this. So this is really weird. I guess the tubs were just like kind of put in place, sealed, or like glued in, and then they just kind of welded. Maybe they welded from this side. That actually makes more sense, and that's why they probably put a ton of putty here. So when we wire wheel this, we'll be able to see the welds and kind of get the tubs off, because this is all overlap here. Look at this overlap that I want to take off and save as much of the OEM material as possible. I'm already going to have to put in some more material here because of how much more extra they cut out. But look at this overlap. You can actually see it through that hole there. That's wild. Super weird way to do it. But anyways, it worked, I guess. But yeah, he's just been cleaning everything up to give you guys a little bit of example. This is what it looks like now. You can see the welds from the previous person. And then have a look on this side, and this is what we were dealing with, what he started with. So he's been working at this a lot. Look at all this gunk just thrown on here. This is overlapped again here, but higher up. But yeah, just silicone everywhere. I don't even think it's seam seal. It looks like it's just like plumbing silicone or something, like normal caulking. But yeah, it's looking good. Once we cleaned everything off, the rust doesn't look anywhere near as bad once again, which is really nice, especially in these areas and stuff. A few places we're definitely gonna have to fix up. I'm gonna clean up this section hole here, cut this back, reinforce it. And then there's a few sections in here that we knew about that we're replacing with those parts we got. But otherwise, she's looking pretty good.
Oh my god, that looks amazing.
We're currently at dinner, Bikuri Donkey, just hanging out. Today's been crazy busy. Thanks to you guys, just absolutely smashing all the orders. I'm sitting here with my buddy. How you doing? You go, you wanna vlog? So we're having dinner and just hanging out, having a good time, and then tomorrow we'll get back on the cars. But it's been a pretty wild day, just dealing with all the orders and all that kind of stuff. Don't forget as well, guys, pace yourselves. Don't go all in on the first day. You want to make sure you place your order I guess, stretch it out. Spread it out over the next few days so that you have more of a chance of getting one of the Garrett Turbos. Also as well, just a quick reminder, the Turbos don't have rear housings, and that's just so you guys can get a rear housing to suit whatever engine or exhaust manifold that you guys have, because everyone has a different car or a different exhaust manifold, and there's T3, T4, V-band, all that kind of stuff. So I just want to make sure you guys know that. Anyways, I'm going to keep hanging out with Hugo, and we're going to get some food. Kabe-san's back today, and he's getting all the intercooler piping finished. He's got this really neat little trick here where he uses 2 pieces of right-angled aluminum with hose clamps. That really helps him line everything up where it's going to be if it was welded, so he can get all of his like measurements perfect and angles and everything. This is just like so simple. I'm kind of mad I've never thought of this before. Hopefully this is something that you guys can take on too. But yeah, just 2 pieces of right angle there, and then just 2 hose clamps, and you can kind of have it a little loose so you can rotate the pipe where it's going to be, and then you can measure and line everything up and mark it and weld. You can see he's already done the new right angle piece here that comes through, clears the strut tower. We're going to have 1 coupler here, and then this is all going to connect in to the bottom. We've already chopped that, and there's going to be like an adapter piece there for a coupler. And then this is all going to be 1 piece down to the intercooler, well, down to here with a coupler. So we're trying to minimize as many couplers as possible. We were thinking about just welding this here straight to this 1 piece, so there'd only be 1 coupler there. But if we ever need to take the front compressor housing off, that would mean like we would have to remove all the other piping just so we can move this whole thing forward if the coupler was there. So we decided to add another coupler there just so it's a little easier to take on and off. We've got everything pretty much marked up and tacked in place where we're going, but we did come across a big issue. For some reason, we weren't even thinking about a bonnet on this, and we were like, I wonder if it's gonna clear, and it's about, I don't know, this much, about 2 centimeters, probably too high. So he's gonna notch this piping so we can suck it down even more onto the valve cover here, which will then give us a little bit more space here to clear this. The turbo is just touching though, but we should be able to get away by cutting some of the internal structure of the bonnet away there to get it to clear. Worst case scenario, cut a little slit in the hood. But yeah, everything's gonna come together. We'll get all of that finished up tonight, and he'll probably come back tomorrow and get the downpipe all finished. But it's been really, really cool, like just having him here. He brought some of his equipment and gear and stuff like that. It's just been kind of working away and chipping away at it. We had to cut this a little bigger. We've done a nice clean cut there, as you can see, but we're also gonna be putting a nice rubber seal around that. So if anything does touch it, it's gonna rub against the rubber and not the actual body. But I think that looks really nice. This box just arrived from the guys over at Kelford Cams in New Zealand, and we've got ourselves our new springs for this engine. I'm hoping they work. The label says RB30E, and I just kind of, you know, took a gamble. I'm pretty sure they're identical size, but we will find out. Nissan has no reason to have different size springs whatsoever in this head. It's pretty much based off the 30 single cam head, I think. So we should be okay. It's a dual spring design. These are much stronger than the stock ones, so it should allow us to actually rev to like 7,000 RPM under some boost. Kabe-san's already gone back to his shop. He's kind of like an on-call fabricator here in Japan. He does a lot of fab work for like Daigo Saito and a lot of the top guys over here, and he just kind of has to keep going between their shops and stuff. So he's just been like, you know, fitting us in and doing what he can. Luckily, his shop's actually only 10 minutes away, which is why he's been able to like bring his stuff here and kind of just like do a little bit here and there. But tomorrow, we're hopeful that everything will be done intercooler-wise, and then all we have to worry about is trying to get the front pipe or down pipe made. And we're all good, because we're not gonna run a cat on this because it's just gonna live at the track. So we're just gonna make a whole 1 piece that goes all the way to where the cat would normally connect. But yeah, I'm kind of a little deep right now into this, and I'll explain what's going on. But I mean, you already know we're changing the springs, but this is required if you don't wanna remove the head. And Daiki's about to head off. So, kyo, arigatou Daiki, otsukaresama desu. Otsukare means thanks for your hard work. Japanese 101 with Sam. No worries. So he's got to go, but I'm going to get started on this, and what we're going to do is do each cylinder chamber 1 at a time. What we have to do is make sure that each cylinder, I think, is at top dead center. We push some air into it, and that keeps the valves up while we take the spring off and replace it with the new one. And that's pretty much it. And we got all the new ones here. It's nice. I got a really nice layout here. I'm gonna get a marker so I can label everything so that no mistakes can be made, and we will be good. Something that I'm really, really anal about is just making sure we bag and tag everything, but also when you're doing head stuff, just anything that has to come off has to go back exactly in the same position, and you can't mess anything up. So I'm gonna do that, lay it all out, write it all down. Let's get this done. Got the first old spring out, So far the valve hasn't dropped, so we're in good luck. And these are terrible. Super, super soft and squishy. Yeah. One thing I will mention as well is the spring compressor tool I bought from Amazon was terrible. So we're just gonna make do with what we have. I'm gonna use it with a pry bar and that should land us where we need to be, hopefully. New spring going in. Oh, so much stiffer. I'm now finished putting the first 6 valve springs in, obviously 1 on each side. I'm so glad this isn't a dual head cam because then that would have been 12 that I would have had to have done just for the first 3 cylinders. But yeah, we got to do the back ones. I definitely have the wrong tool for the job. I just have this thing, which is kind of scary. It's almost like spring clamps for, you know, getting your struts out. This thing is just sketchy and it doesn't really work too well on this head. So I'm gonna fab something up tomorrow that makes life easier, and with Daiki here, it'll make it 1,000 times easier, especially for these back 3 where there's just a bunch of stuff in the way. But yeah, they're definitely stiffer. They all just went straight in, same size, everything, not a single issue. I can't confirm 100% that this head is identical. Obviously the casting seems to be the same, but maybe like the port sizing is a little different or the valves are a little different in sizing, like just overall diameter. But the springs are the same. Everything else inside the head seems to be the same, which is cool to know. But yeah, looking at the OEM springs here, we'll put the new Kelford ones side by side just so you guys can kind of see, but I'm sure you can gather just by looking at it, you can see that this is much thicker than the OEM one and there's a lot more space, less windings. So this is just a lot harder to squeeze and you can see much different. I mean, I can feel it, like it is so hard to squeeze this, but I can actually get some movement out of that one. This one, you can see the center spring, the smaller spring. This one's actually longer, less windings again, much stiffer than the OEM one. So yeah, it's pretty cool. First time I've ever done this on a single cam, first time I've ever done this on a head still attached to the engine in the car. So it's been a learning experience, but I've been having fun. Bogan 32 is just getting even more legit. And we definitely did this the Bogan way, that's for sure. Like I was using the pry bar off the intake manifold to get leverage to pop them out. So I feel a little bit more true to this thing. Lastly, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on this thing. We managed to clean all the putty off and now we know why there was so much putty here. But yeah, this is going to take a while for us to go through and try to save as much as the material here that we can. I am going to have to make definitely some more here and stretch it out and meet up with the other tubs, but this is just not how you do tubs. Both sides. It's like bad welds aside. I mean, I would say that this is a gasless MIG. But like bad welds aside, the issue here is really just like they didn't connect the two and line it up perfectly. They just kind of put it over the top. You can see the overhang and the overlap there. Like it's just super dodgy and it's just, yeah, no wonder water got in there. Doing an overlap means that you're not going to be able to seal this properly, which explains why they use so much silicone to try and, you know, seal it, but you can still see moisture and water got in everywhere and kind of, yeah, went in through there. So what we're going to do is slowly just kind of work at it with a grinder and grind away all of the welds, take away the old material and go from there. At the same time, we are going to be spot welding every seam in here. And that's just going to make the chassis a lot more rigid. Feels amazing when you do this. And if you ever do an engine bay, it's just like a really good idea to do. So you can see we've cleaned all of the seam sealer out around here. And we're going to be doing it all through here and pretty much everywhere. And just get this thing all nice and tacked up. When we replace all this, we'll be tacking through here as well and just getting everything kind of stitch welded along the seams in the engine bay. And this thing's gonna come out great. But yeah, I still like, geez, man. And it's like not even just on the inside. There's certain places over here where they just, you know, gummed it up on this side too. This side was done a lot nicer, but still the overlap method. It's just, I don't know. I don't know why you'd do this. It just means that you're going to have a lot of problems, which obviously we got this car at the right time, to be honest. There's no way that if this sat there for like a couple more years that this thing would have been savable for sure. I think we got it just in time. See, we're going to be tacking all of this too. So just strengthening up the chassis in the front end, make it a lot nicer. But yeah, overall, really, really happy with this. It's up in here too. And this side, oh, this is my first time looking at it. Yeah, there you go, big hole there. And that's why we got all those pieces to fix this. Yikes, that's actually massive. Oh, glad we're doing it now. Guys, I have never been this busy in my entire life. The last 2 days are like a blur, and I have no one to thank for it but you, and I'm not complaining whatsoever. I'm super grateful, I'm super humbled. The Garrett Turbo campaign has blown my expectations out of the water, and I just want to stop and say thank you to you guys. Also, I am so excited that the first person that got theirs literally was a car person, was someone that needed it for his JZX 100 build in Colorado. So that is freaking awesome. That's what I love to see. Obviously, quick plug again, if you haven't placed an order on SAMMIT.net, when this video goes live, there'll be 8 days left. For the last 8 days, we're throwing in a random person's order, a free Garrett Turbo. We have $50,000 worth of Garrett Turbos, and we're just giving them away, one a day randomly in someone's order. So if you haven't placed an order yet on SAMMIT.net, make sure you go do that. By the way, I strongly recommend pace yourself. If you want to like go all in right away, that's obviously, you want to pace, you know what I'm saying, just pace it out over a couple days. But anyways, that aside, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you understand that like all the stuff we're working on right now, we've got to take our time with it. We keep uncovering more stuff with the abandoned S15 where shortcuts were originally taken by the previous person that built the car, which have led to more rust issues and things that we have to, refabricate from scratch that just doesn't exist, right? All that extra material that has to be taken out. And like if these shortcuts weren't taken, I think it would have been a lot faster to be able to like rebuild the car. Definitely like as we've started, going along with the build, we've found so much more that's like just been roadblock after roadblock. Also roadblocks, but just delays. So it's just kind of been a bit frustrating, but obviously I'm really, really confident we're gonna have this thing done as soon as possible, but I wanna do it right. So we're gonna take our time and make sure this doesn't happen again until the chassis is like 60 years old and it's ready to die. You know what I mean? Even then we could probably still save it again. I don't know, maybe that'll be Hugo's car. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I'm still a new dad, family life and all that kind of stuff on top of everything that's just going on here right now in the office. And by the way, thank you so much. Like all your support and everything that you guys are doing, placing orders and stuff really helps us as a business. It'll help us grow and help us be able to achieve the things that we want to achieve, make cooler and sicker and better videos. So thank you very much. And I don't want to talk your ears off. You watched the video. I'm just super humbled. I still can't believe we're here. And thank you. Thank you. I mean, go watch one of the old videos. Go watch me working in the driveway and just talking about my dreams and how cool it would be to have 10,000 subs. And now we're here. Japan's biggest drifting YouTuber. I don't even know what happened. Thanks guys. Peace.